YouTube, what's happening, what the business is, and welcome to all my ninjas. So moving forward, today's topic we're going to talk about is SPAN. I'm not going to go too much into theory about this. We're just going to jump straight into the lab because I ain't trying to hold you, but y'all definitely should read up on it, research it. I could, if you want, I could definitely do a lecture on it, put something together for y'all. Just let me know in the comments if you want me to just drop a little quick lecture for y'all, put something together. So right now you should be able to see packet tracer. I'm definitely going to include this lab in the description below as well. I'll drop it in the description. I did not build this lab. I found this lab on the internet just Googling, but somebody done put this together. But it really helped me out because they already have it working, so you can kind of play around with it and see how everything is working when a regular SPAN session is going on. That way you could build out your own SPAN RSPAN session, which we're going to do today. So right now the SPAN session they got this guy right here, and he got the sniffer over here. Then for the remote SPAN, they got these sniffer 0 and sniffer 1. Those are your sniffers for the RSPAN. Let's just go ahead and verify right now the SPAN session going between these. So to verify that, this guy is port 10. You can't see it on there, but I'm just going to ping over to this guy, and we should see all of that traffic get copied over into this sniffer. What you have here is where you'll see the packets being captured as they're being copied on that port 10 and being mirrored to port 5 right here, which is where the sniffer is hanging off of. And one thing about this that I found interesting, if you do show all, these are all the protocols. As you can see, as soon as I did show all, it starts capturing all the protocols that are going over that port. But there's so many different ones. With good best practice with any packet capturing or anything like that is you want to filter this stuff, because there's going to be so much traffic, CDB traffic, all of this traffic that's unnecessary. So to filter it, you're just going to go show none and then edit filters. Then we're going to edit only for ICMP. And I'm on a Mac. I'm on my Mac if y'all ain't noticed, but this is definitely able to do on Windows. I just want to make sure I'm able to do it on both Windows and Mac. That's why I use both. So you cleared that traffic out, right? So we're going to generate some more traffic. We got PC0 already up over here. And actually we'll minimize that guy, bring him up, minimize him so we can have them both up at the same time. So we got PC0 and sniffer 2. We'll do like that. And if I just ping that, as you can see, there goes the ICMP. And these are the packets, and it gives you some kind of information, at least. The source and destination MAC addresses. So 97 Charlie 4 should be the source MAC address. I'm assuming that's going to be this guy. And if we scroll up, and we could already see physical address 97 Charlie 4. So that's the source address right there. And this is just the frame itself and the source and destination IP address. So I think Packet Tracer is a great tool just for SPAN and RSPAN, and just to at least you could filter and at least you could verify the stuff that you're looking for. So we'll clear all that off, minimize them again. So what we want to do is we want to now, if we were in PC2, whenever you download this and you launch this Packet Tracer, PC2 isn't here. I had to put it on port 11 on the switch here and configure it for the same VLAN that this guy is on, so that they can ping each other and everything. So that's fun to do, but it's not too much involved in that. That's why I didn't bring that up. So right here, again, I'm going to bring up sniffer 2 and PC2. And if I want to ping that guy, that traffic is also hitting in there for the ICMP traffic. So it's also being copied and going down there. So let's log into the switch. I thought I had it turned off. I was going to go through it with y'all, but obviously I didn't. So I'm going to do show monitor session local, because we're doing a local session. And here is I actually have a monitor session set up for port 11. That's what this thing is saying. Local session, meaning local SPAN is being used. Port 11 is my source port, and it's set for both send and receive traffic, because you could do it for just send traffic or just receive traffic, or transmit traffic and receive traffic. And then the destination port is port 8, which that doesn't make much sense because there's only a port 5 here. So PC2. Oh, I'm sorry, I just caught on that. If I try to ping over to 1.10.20, it shouldn't see it. Let's try that. And then let me bring up sniffer 2 again. That threw me off a second because I didn't know, but it's just the traffic going in and out of port 10 is being mirrored over here to sniffer. So I don't want any traffic going over there to show you guys. I hope this makes sense. So whoops, let's close that, clear that again. We'll clear that, and right here .20 if I could type. Now as you see, the pings are going through, but without that traffic being mirrored over here, how do we know what kind of traffic is hitting this port? We don't. Obviously the ping is going through, but in a scenario where you just wanted to know what kind of traffic is being captured on that port, you could put a sniffer on there, and that's what we're going to do, is to verify the ICMP traffic is actually hitting that port, because whatever comes in on that port is going to come out onto this port, onto sniffer 2. And that's local span, and that means that the mirroring is just happening right here locally on this switch. So let's go in there, and now let's go ahead and do a show run include monitor. This is all the monitor sessions we have. We're going to get rid of this one because that's the one that I set up when I was in here labbing. So this is good to see. So no monitor session 5. That removes it. Just to verify, you always want to trust and verify your configuration. So it's not there at all. So jump back in there and go through the configuration for local span. This is the local span configuration. So it starts off monitor session, and then you number the session. We'll give it session 5 again. Then you want to go ahead and put the source. Where are you going to capture the traffic? What port do you want to monitor? Instead of saying source, what port do you want to see the traffic on? You could say it like that. So the source is interface, or I'm sorry, it just takes FA0/11. Whoops. See the syntax, I still don't got it down. It's interface FA0/11. And then monitor session 5. Destination. Now what's going to happen is I can't have more than one session going down here to this sniffer for that port. So I'll have to connect a new sniffer before we move over to this destination part. I'll have to connect a new sniffer to this switch. To connect the new sniffer, you go to end devices, select sniffer, drop them right there. Now you got sniffer 5. You want to cable that guy with a crossover cable from his port 0. Whoops, sorry, too many things right there. So to port 8, green triangle means I do have a link. Go back into the switch. Then I'm going to finish my syntax. Monitor destination is interface FA0/8. That means for monitor session 5, local span session, I want to monitor the traffic coming in here, and I want you to put it here to my sniffer analyzer here, and I want to see all of it. Mirror that traffic from here to here. Monitor session source here to monitor session destination here. Very straightforward, very simple. Hopefully it works. So we could verify it, show monitor session, and then you could go session 5, right? It's going to tell me it's a local session. That's correct. Monitoring the traffic both ways on my source port of 11, going to my sniffer port of port 8. So minimize that guy, bring up him, go to the GUI. We're going to clear it, none, P. I just want to see the ICMP traffic. Go back to my PC, and now, before when I did the ping 110.20, I didn't see nothing. Now let's see what sniffer 5 sees if I do it. So let me try to put them in the same thing so y'all can see. Either way, y'all get what I'm trying to do. Boom. As you can see, now when I did ping, now I'm getting something, but I'm in another sniffer, of course, because I had to drop another sniffer in there. But we set up local span. That took care of local span. So now, next step after that, we'll minimize that guy. But what if I can't use these analyzers here? What if there's no analyzers locally at this site? or I'm sorry, locally at this location, but in another part of the office, they got some ways to set up sniffers over there. Well, I could say, well, mirror this traffic, send it over to trunk, and send it over to this switch, and let these guys pick up that traffic. I don't have to be locally to this switch. So first of all, to do that, that's called remote span. And for that, you're going to have to jump back into this switch. And it's going to be similar to local span. You're going to do monitor. First of all, let me make sure I don't have nothing in there. So show monitor session remote. I do have a remote span session set up, session number 3. Remote span session, that's what remote destination session is. But look at the source port. That's for this guy, source port 10. What I want to do is set it up for source port 11. So let's do that. So I don't have one, so we're going to set it up. So it's monitor session, and we'll do session 7 for this one. I'm just keeping it, it's 1357, just keeping it all odds. I think I'll do it 9. I think the other one has monitor session 7. I don't want to mess it up that way. So monitor session 9. We're going to do source interface FA011. Same thing. But this time when you go to destination, look at the options you have. You got right there remote. Then it's asking for a VLAN. This is the difference here. So how this works is it's using VLAN 5 across this trunk to get that span traffic. And let me show you inside the switch what VLAN 5 looks like configured. This reflector port business, we're gonna experiment with it. I don't know if I can have, just in the config, I seen that it was set up with a reflector port. I have no idea what that means, but it works when you put one on there. So now let's look at, like I said, VLAN 5. So show VLAN brief. See VLAN 5? It has ports 5 and 8 that are part of VLAN 5, which are these sniffers. They don't have to be because they have nothing to do with remote span, but they are part of VLAN 5. And then remote span is VLAN 5 here. And that's the VLAN that is going to communicate with VLAN 5 on the other side. That way that they all know that this is going to be RSPAN traffic. It has to be agreed upon what VLAN, layer 2 VLAN, you're going to communicate this traffic or send this traffic over. So again, we do show monitor session remote, and now instead of just session 3, we got a session 9 here. Port 11, destination is port 5. But we're on the source switch. This is where I'm sourcing my information, or where I want to monitor that traffic. The destination is where I want to send it to, or wherever my sniffer, my Wireshark analyzer, wherever that is at. That's on my destination guy right here. Alright, so we're in the destination switch over here, and we're going to look at show monitor session remote here. As you can see, destination port is 1, which is sniffer 0's port. Sniffer 1 doesn't have a destination port. Doesn't have a destination port. And let me get these out of the way. Sorry. Let me go back into the destination switch. No destination port there. Not sure where that native VLAN mismatch is coming from. That's going to be another thing for me to look at later on. But moving forward, we're going to create the remote session for my port 11. To do that, you're going to go conf t monitor session, and we'll do 7 here. The sessions don't have to be the same across the board. They could be different sessions. Session numbers, I'm sorry. And then for the source here, you're going to put, the option here is going to be remote VLAN 5. That's your source. On your destination, the source is the remote VLAN. On your source switch, the remote VLAN is your destination. So, say that one more time. On your destination, wherever you have the analyzer at in a remote span configuration, on the destination switch, you're going to configure your source as the VLAN. The RSPAN VLAN is your source. And then on your destination switch is going to be the port that your sniffer is hanging off of, which we said port 2 for this guy, FA02. Do show VLAN brief and look at VLAN 5 over here. We don't see any of those ports in that VLAN, port 1 or 2, where these sniffers are at. So with that being said, now whenever I'm pinging anything, if I'm pinging, let me move this out of the way. Anything that's coming over here will be mirrored to both here now with our local span session, and with our RSPAN session should be mirrored out to these guys as well. So let's clear this out. Let's clear this out. Let's also look at what we have here set up. Always trust but verify. Show the session here, remote. Or we could just do show monitor session 7 to be more exact. And just look at our session 7. The source is the VLAN and the destination is 2 here. Destination was 1 on this guy, but here we got destination of 2. So I'm expecting to see it on sniffer 1. So let's drop sniffer 0 out the way. Let's drop this guy out the way. And we'll bring up sniffer 1. Same that we did last time. Bring up the PC2. And we'll just do ping test locally. And this isn't even over here on our remote switch. We're just looking at the traffic going on local on the other local switch here. We'll just do a ping to 10. And as you can see, PC2 ping, as you can see, ended up in sniffer 1. Let's see sniffer 0. And it also ended up in source IP.11 going to destination.10. So that was the remote span. Without RSPAN on there, we would have never been able to see any of the traffic going on over here being mirrored out to these analyzers over here. Hope that was a good explanation of SPAN and RSPAN as far as configure and verify, which is on the exam, which is what they're really going to want you to do. Is going to be, they want you to be able to configure it and verify it. They want you to be able to talk about this stuff. You should be able to know it, be able to explain it to somebody else. Hopefully everything I said made sense. If it didn't, put it in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Because I am trying to learn and grow. Appreciate y'all. If y'all liked the video, I know it's kind of lengthy. Hope if y'all was feeling it, please. Trying to grow, trying to share that algorithms, try to make the algorithms turn your boy up, man. Please subscribe, share this video. Like I said, if you guys want me to go on to a lecture about the theory and everything behind SPAN, RSPAN, and ERSPAN, let me know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. We're going to do ERSPAN. That's going to be probably the same. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it'll be not too long. But as I always say, y'all already know, it's